In this video you are going to learn how to do a plank exercise correctly. If you do the plank exercise with incorrect technique, it is not functional and it can be harmful for you. So be careful about the plank and watch the full video to find out what to do better. Why should you do the plank exercise in a correct way? Plank exercise is a popular exercise for many people, such as for the recreational athletes, but also those who practice sports professionally. If you like to practice this exercise or you're about to practice it, watch the video and follow the instructions from a sport physiotherapist who will teach you how to do this exercise technically correctly first. The plank is often included in the training plans, not only designed for athletes, but also for people who exercise at home, as it is a seemingly simple exercise that does not require any tools. However, proper technique is an essential part of this exercise because improper execution can do more harm than good. A simple looking exercise hides quite a lot of complexity. Let's talk about some of the most common mistakes people make in this popular exercise. What mistakes should be avoided when practicing plank? Before we explain the correct execution, we need to understand how to get into the position correctly and why it is important. When we practice plank on a mat, we usually forget several details that affect the correct technical pattern. Let's start step by step and explain every detail and part of our body during the plank. So, firstly, hands, shoulders and elbows, arm, shoulder and elbow joints. A common mistake that can occur is our support in the elbows. In most cases, it is incorrect position of the arms that reach too far front or too far behind the elbow, thus putting shoulders in the wrong position too. Little attention is paid to the shoulders blades, which keep sticking out, and in the end, the palms, which are mistakenly clenched in a fist or twisted on the mat, is not correct also. The elbows must be placed on the mat under the shoulders at a 90-degree angle. The shoulders should be relaxed and activate in a natural position, and the palms should be spread out on the mat with shoulders in correct position. Feet, ankles and toes. The toes of our feet should not get in the front of the ankles. Instead, the ankle joint should remain in a neutral position. It often happens that people get cramped in the plantar part, lower part of the foot. Therefore, it is important to keep up the ankle level. After this, there is a cervical spine, the position of the head and the chin during the planking. Probably one of the most common mistakes in the position of the head, which either falls towards the ground or is bending backwards, and the eye line is directed in front of the body. Moving on to the cervical spine is ought to be in an upright position. The eye line is perpendicular to the path and the jaw is pushed back, so it is in direct line with the spine. The movement itself should feel significantly more relaxed when done correctly. It could feel strange at first, but it is the basis of the correct technique of the plank. Position of the spine and pelvis during the plank. By frequently pointing out the position of the spine and torso during this exercise, most of us will already be able to see that when the back is located in the so-called hyperkyphosis, the back is hunched over. It is not optimal. With our hunchback, we unnecessarily overload our shoulders, cervical spine, and straight abdominal muscle. At the same time, the back in the so-called hyperlordosis, back with excessive curvature, is a technically wrong position that can prove to be more harmful rather than useful due to wrongly placed chest and consequently overloaded torso. Many people have a pelvic position problem and are naturally in the wrong position during the exercise. In order to perform this exercise correctly, the back, the head, and the pelvis should be in a straight and neutral position. Let's not forget about properly activated deep stabilization system and of course breathing through the diaphragm without over-involving the direct abdominal muscle. During the plank, we should mainly strengthen the body deep stabilization system. However, from experience, we know that most people overload the straight abdominal muscles and even unnecessarily activate the buttock muscles. If done correctly, this should be avoided. It takes a while to learn the right implementation of these advices, but it is definitely worth investing time in. This muscle overload also affects the wrong breathing stereotype. Respiratory biomechanics is of great importance in terms of activation of intra-abdominal pressure. We teach it comprehensively in our Invisible Performance newsletter, so just join it. Breathing while exercising plank is important. Plank is a simple looking exercise, but all the more challenging isometric exercise. During plank, it is advised to breathe through the nose. This includes inhaling and exhaling. Breathing should be directed to the diaphragm, specifically to all walls of the abdominal cavity, not just forward. How to execute plank correctly? In the plank position, it is important to keep the body in an upright position. From the details mentioned above, you now know what to look out for and especially why. So, let's summarize it. For exercise to be correct and have maximum effect, the head, cervical, thoracic and lumbar spine must be in one neutral position along with the correct position of the pelvis. The shoulders should be in a neutral position and the elbows are perpendicular to them on the mat. The palms are spread flat and fingers point straight ahead. The head with a cervical spine is in a neutral position in the torso extension and the eye line is perpendicular to the pad. The chin is gently pushed back into the neck area. Breathing is directed in all directions of the abdomen and the bottom muscles are in natural activation, not contracted. During the exercise, inhale and exhale through the nose to improve the supply of oxygen to the muscles. And we mustn't forget the correct position of our toes, ankles and feet. Why is it important to execute correct technique? The technical precision of any exercise brings benefits in the form of an injury prevention and prevention of unnecessary physical complications that can occur with a long-term incorrect stereotype habit. By activating the right muscles, we help increase the strength and power of the deep stabilization system, while not overloading the muscles that we need to function during other physical activities. So, I hope you understand now the basics of the correct execution of the plank. And if you like the video, please put a like on it, and if you think it has a value, share it with your friends to do the plank exercise correctly. And also, if you want to help me to grow our YouTube channel, then click on the subscribe button, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye guys, and have a nice day.